Hey guys, and welcome back to the Simple Car Guy channel. As you may know, I am a sucker for a good diagnostics tool, so today we are checking out this full system bi-directional 30 special function launch CRE Elite BMW scanner. I'm very excited to dive into this one as I haven't seen many new BMW specific scan tools with this much claimed functionality in this price range. We of course get OBD2 functionality for basically all manufacturers of own vehicles from 1996, graphing, reporting, of course it can do DTC codes and everything like that. Very important that it can upgrade so you can support newer systems. At the moment it basically supports all BMWs up until this point, Minis and Rolls-Royce as well, so very cool. One really important thing here is that it can do action, or I believe they mean active testing. So this is the bidirectional functionality or even ECU coding. We'll have to check that out once we dive deeper into this scanner. Special functions, there's close to 30 functions I believe, which is pretty amazing, especially in this price range. And of course it does a full system diagnosis or diagnostics. So let's open it up and check it out ourselves. So we have some documentation with the unit. We have the quick start guide. So this will basically tell you how to plug it in, what the buttons do, and how to set it up for the first time. Use it if you never used one of these devices before. And of course we have the user manual that tells you a lot more information, and looks like this is pretty much all in English. So it will give you a little bit more information how to use it, how to properly troubleshoot your car and what to look for. Looks like we haven't included a USB Type-C cable, so if you want to transfer most likely reports or things like that from the device to your computer, you can do so here in the bottom. So let's open that up. You have the port and we have the micro SD card, which does not come with the device, but you probably don't need it as it has some built-in storage. This is maybe rubberized plastic. It's not very soft, but it's definitely not hard plastic. The cable is about, I would say, maybe 4.5 feet. And the last thing on here is the screen. I'm gonna take off the screen protector. Just don't like how they look. And now we're gonna go plug this into a car and look into the software. So far, hardware-wise, it seems just fine, but I'm very interested in what the software has to tell us. Additional use for the USB cable is of course that you can plug it into a power wall or just one of these power banks, and you can set it up while you're still in your garage or in the house instead of doing it in the car. And then of course connect it to Wi-Fi to update all of the applications. So I'm just going to go through the process here. It shouldn't be too long. Alright, so now that we're in the car, let's check out this device. And I'm very excited to show you what it can do, as it can do a lot more than I even expected. So let's start with the boring stuff, get through it, and then we're going to get to the meat and potato of this device. Of course, here at the bottom we have a few different buttons. We have the back button, the home button, and the settings button. Very cool. So let's start with the settings. We're going to go to the settings, see what's in here. You can switch between Magic and Imperial. You can change the brightness, turn on or off the sound or the beeps. I like that off so it doesn't annoy me. I'm connected to the Wi-Fi on my phone so we can see how the reporting works. Change the time zone, languages. So here are the languages that are available in case you are interested. Expiration date, I believe this is the support. So this device will be supported for the next 10 years. Pretty sweet. Workshop information, if you'd like to update your information in here, it will show up on the reports in the future, whatever you generate, and you can of course recover and clean up and basically change it back to new if you'd like to sell it or let somebody else use it. It'll get rid of your personal information. And then you can turn on screen capture, which I like, and I do want to keep that on. This will allow you to basically take a screenshot of whatever's on the screen. Going to data, here actually a lot of useful information. You have your diagnostic report, so whatever you save, the reports are going to go in here. You can look up different codes, although this will do it for you automatically anyway. You can look into the images or the screenshots that you have taken, and you can do a couple other things like the user manual and other items that you might find useful. Next is the mall. So basically this is like a little store that you can buy additional functionality. I don't think you need to do that unless I don't know, for some reason you have this device only with you, and then you have a Jaguar or like a Land Rover that you need to fix, or a Mercedes, you can buy additional functionality for that vehicle or that make and model and then use it on that car. But I haven't tested it, don't know how it works, so don't quote me on that. Then we have upgrade. You can basically upgrade the software that's already pre-installed on this device. I had to download the BMW software for the first time just to get the latest version. This is version V50.9. Very cool. And then I've upgraded everything else that was on here just in case, so I have the latest stuff. Now, if you go to reset, you'll see that there's nothing here, but that's because all of the reset functions and special functions are going to be available through the Diagnose button right here, and I'll show you how that works in just a minute. And then of course it also has OBD2. This will basically do exactly what a lot of the less expensive scanners do. So it includes the functionality of all of those under $100 scanners just in this one little app, and you can read live data. This is only the PIDs for the engine and the transmission, the generic ones. You can of course clear fault codes, read fault codes, and see if the car would pass emissions. So things like that, very useful, but nothing special. You can get it on a $50–$60 device, so I'm not going to go deeper into it. What I will talk about more is the diagnose function. So if we go in here, we are presented with auto detect. So this will basically scan your VIN number and then figure everything out on its own. Or you can just go to BMW, and then this is the software we're going to be using. It tells you what it can do, and it can do a lot. In case you're interested, I'll scroll through it. You can pause to see those different functionalities. But anyway, I'm going to click OK. And now it will connect to the vehicle and show us what functions are available for this specific vehicle. In this menu, we have automatically search, manually select, coding, special functions, and anti-theft system. So automatically search, this will automatically search all the functionality, or automatically search what vehicle it is specifically and show us the functionality. Manually select, we can select the vehicle and the modules individually, and coding and special functions we'll talk about in just a little bit. I'm going to go to automatically search just because that's easier, and we'll let it do its own thing. As you can see, it found my VIN number. It tells me that this is a BMW i3 left-hand drive, all correct, so I'm going to click next. Once it's loaded, this new menu shows us the health report, system scan, system selection, special functions, anti-theft system, and coding and programming. So very similar to what we saw before, but now it's going to be more specific to the vehicle. So we can go to health report. We'll just start with that. And what this will do is scan every single module quickly without getting a ton of information about it, and tell us kind of a general report. This is perfect for sending to customers or just getting a general idea of what's going on. So it will put all the modules with some issues or any kind of code to the top. As you can see, it's now at the top, just like that. And you can click report. And of course, you can share this report through email, so that's pretty nice as well, as long as you're connected to the internet. At this menu, you can also hit clear code, and it will clear all the codes for all of the modules. But we're not going to do that just yet. We're going to go to system scan. This will do a more in-depth scan of the entire system, all of the modules. And I want to be very clear, this device can scan all modules on every single BMW that it supports, not just the engine and ABS and transmission, all of them. And to prove that, we can go to, I don't know, something strange like the instrument cluster. So we can go to the instrument cluster, and now we'll load even more information about it. Gives us the identity and all the other stuff that might be interesting to you, and presents us with a few more options. So now we can read module specific code. So this is not a generic code. This is a code that you can Google, and it will show up as a BMW code. Very, very important and very different from a lot of generic scanners. This is very cool that you can see the actual vehicle specific codes. Of course, you can then clear those codes. All it does, boom, the codes are clear. And if you go back and you see both of them, you see one of them. So that means this one is actually a permanent code, and something is actually wrong with with that module or with the vehicle. Then we can go into read data stream. This is another amazing feature. What this does, it can show us live information from pretty much any module. We are on the instrument cluster, which is just right there. So we can see some information from there. As an example, we can go to general. I guess we can do total distance, or we can do both, of course, there's no rev counter because this is an electric car, but there you go. You can see the mileage from the car, so you'll see true mileage from here, right from the module. You can of course go to something else like remaining range display. So let's just select all of them and see what that gives us. There you go, all of that information. So it tells you the average consumption. So according to this, it's 77 liters per 100 kilometers. I probably should have switched to imperial because I don't really know what that means, but there you go. Current range displayed, 37 miles. Current electric range, 67 miles. Boom, all of this information just right there. You have all this live information, and you can even record it, or you can combine it and graph it. So if you want to graph it, you know, let's say like 3 of them. And this could be anything. It could be about an engine, a motor, any other module on the vehicle. Of course, that's not going to change because we're just sitting here, but you can graph so many things at the same time. Very, very cool. This is so much functionality for this little device that I'm getting too excited about. But that's not even the end of it. So as you saw, we just had live data, vehicle-specific codes. We can even look into freeze frames. So if you have some emission items that have been stored on the computer, this can read those as well. But we also have actuation tests, which is super cool. So this is what makes this a bidirectional scanner. Normally you can't even get one under like 300 bucks. So this is very cool. You can reset the control unit if you have issues, or delete fault memories and stuff like that. But what I'm interested in is actually like the active tests. On this one, there's not a lot, but we can still see how it works. So they're just gonna turn on the blinkers for 5 seconds. Right there. See? This one's just easy to demonstrate, and we can stop it. Boom, stopped. You can do this on every single module. There's just so many things you can do just by this activation test that it's amazing that this is included with this device. But anyway, let's go all the way back. So we've already done the health report, system scan. System selection is basically the same thing. This will just allow you to pick the modules individually instead of letting the vehicle scan or the scanner scan all of the vehicle. Now, special functions is also a very special menu here. So if you go to maintenance, you can do all of these things right here. So you can reset your CBS. So if you change oil or something like that, you can go in here, just reset those. You can even remove and delete service history, so very useful there as well. And then you can go to more specific items like drive. So this is going to be related to the motor or to the engine of the vehicle. We can like burn off a new catalytic converter. You can enable expert mode for the electric drive. You can reset the starter lock, or delete installation mode for KLE, or you can start the range extender. So if you want to use up the old fuel, or you need to just test it, you can do that. And more importantly, you can disconnect, high voltage systems. So if you're working in an electric car like this, you can do that from this device. How cool is that? You can even read out serial numbers from the batteries to see if the serial numbers match what the vehicle is supposed to be. Tons and tons of stuff in here. That's just for the drive. And of course, you can go into different sections. So you can do the steering, you can do stuff, you can bleed the brakes. So basically the ABS functionality, you can work on your brakes and do all the workshop stuff as well. You can go to body. You can even adjust the sunroof and make sure that's working properly. Enable and block remote keys, so your key fobs. Look at all these options. Basically what you're seeing here is what BMW can do from their big expensive computers, maybe slightly limited from that, but a lot of that information is in here, and you can basically just do it for what, like not that much money. I'm very surprised at the price of this device. If it stays under 200 bucks, I'm gonna be surprised because the people will just buy this up. You can even register the battery exchange, so just right there, you can change the battery. You can update it right there. All right, let's go back and see the last item here, coding and program. So this is actually very cool. What you can do is you can personalize the car and make changes to the vehicle that you want using this device. I've done a video on my top 10, I believe, changes that I've done to this vehicle. So check that out, but I'll do a very brief overview here. Basically, you go to personalization. Once it loads, you can go to each, well, it gives you all the warnings. Of course, you can break stuff because you're literally changing how certain items are behaving. But once you go through all the warnings and all the vehicle information, you are presented with all of the basically modules that you can change. As an example, let's do the CIC, so that's the car entertainment system, or that display over there. Go to function select, click yes, asking you if you're sure you want to go in there. Let it process. And here we can make the changes. So of course, there's going to be a lot of different changes depending on the module. I just picked one out of, what was it, like 27. But you can change the number of microphones you have installed depending on, you know, how your vehicle is configured. You can get rid of the reverse video disclaimer. I've done that on this vehicle. I don't want it to be I don't want it to tell me like, oh, be careful, you are you know, you're backing up. I know I'm backing up. I put the car in reverse. Show engine power and torque. So if you have like an M Sport vehicle, you might already have this enabled, but if you don't, you can add it to your vehicle, and that's pretty cool. You can enable USB import for your map data. You can do so many things with this device. As an example, you can also make your mirrors go in and out when you lock the car. It's just going to be on a different module, of course, but as you can see, each and every module has this many options that you can adjust. Of course, it's going to take you some time to see like what you like and what you want to actually adjust, but very, very cool. Coding is basically, I haven't seen it on devices that are this inexpensive, or so I guess it's just a lot of value for money here, but that's what I'm trying to say. But basically, once you've done the changes in your personalization option, then you just go to coding and they will actually write it to the module. I'm not going to do that right now, of course, because I'm just demonstrating the device, but yeah. All right, guys, so I hope that highlights at least some of the things that this device can do. As you can tell, it can do a lot. So to just summarize, it can do bidirectional functionality, so those are the active tests. It can do a lot of the special functions that I've shown you. It has a pretty cool 4-inch touch display, Wi-Fi enabled, so you know, if newer cars come out, you can definitely get the updates for those. Of course, it's free as well. It has OBD2 functionality for all the other cars, so it's not just BMW specific. It's honestly inexpensive for what it is and uses the same software as the X431 series devices, which are well over $1,000. Of course, it's just limited to BMW. Those can do it on other cars as well. What are some of the cons? Well, I don't know. Maybe it's using the older version of Android, but honestly, it's been very well implemented. I haven't had any lag. It's quick to respond, and you know, just things like that. On that note, thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know what you think of this BMW scanner down below in the comments. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one.